Welcome to Fortnite Trading Card Hub. In today's video, we are going to discuss the history of Fortnite trading card sales. To really set the stage, we need to travel back to the summer of 2019, when personal space was completely optional. The first time I came across Fortnite trading cards was actually at a Walgreens. They had an entire display and it was completely full. I had only bought one just to see what they were all about. I had played Fortnite for about 2 years at this point, and when I saw the cards, it really lured me in for sure. Now, I wouldn't say I was addicted, it wasn't love at first sight, but I definitely had my eye out for these cards as I traveled around different locations. My fiance was an avid Target goer, so I lucked out with randomly coming across the sacred Mega Box. And at the time, it was only $19.99. The trading card vendor was actually stocking the cards as I was deciding if I wanted to take all 4 Mega Boxes. It's like this guy was a prophet. We started shooting the shit a little bit, and he had told me how he was hard at work trying to keep all these cards stocked in the various locations. And he believed that there was a frenzy coming. Now keep in mind, this was pre-COVID at this point, but it's like he knew. After I got home, I started to rip open these Mega Boxes. I took off the panini print wrapping paper and busted open the little silver pack, and inside I found my first crystal shard, and it was the Spider Knight. It was at this point I found myself desiring the cards, but not enough to make me a long-term collector. I decided to list the Spider Knight on Mercari, and it actually sold on August 29th, 2019. I sold that Spider Knight for $160. What I couldn't wrap my head around was how I already 8x'd my money. I still had another cracked dice and another hollow. I was easily on track to 10x my money from a single Mega Box. So I rallied up all my duplicates and I started listing everything on eBay. This was actually my first time even messing with eBay or PayPal or anything of that nature. I sold base cards for $1 a piece. I was selling epics for $5 to $8 a piece and hollows for $5 to $10 a piece. Legendaries, $12 to $25 a pop. It felt like I was stealing. Little did I know, I actually sold myself pretty short. But with all that cash coming in, it really engulfed me. So if you didn't know, eBay's data only goes back 3 months. Most likely so they can hide all the shady crap that's going on. But anyways, I have asked some other collectors to send me some of their sales from their Mercari over the last couple of years. I asked them to send me some of their steal buys or steal sales, which may have seemed like people were overpaying or underselling or overbuying, but I just wanted all the goods so that I could have some good content for you guys. So on January 17, 2020, about 6 months into the release, the base Black Knight was sold for $25. At the time, the community really hadn't decided on a chase card yet, but we all knew Black Knight was definitely at the top. And believe it or not, this was actually considered overpaying at that point in time. This card sold for $20 just a little bit later. Also in January 2020, these sales were truly painful to see compared to today's value. 2 legendary USA crystal shards and a reflex sold for $100, probably closer to $2,000 at this point. Now this $37 base legendary is probably one of the highest for its time. I mean, it was drift after all. One of the most painful sales I have ever seen. All 9 promo sets for $99. And believe it or not, this was a 30% profit to whoever sold them. But they have obviously come a long way since then. July 2020 was a big time for trading cards because there was emails out that Season 2 was confirmed. 2 big ticket sales in this image was obviously the Mega Box, and it sold for $85. 3 months earlier, people would look at you funny if you asked for $85 for a $20 box. Now you can't find these things under $1,300. And easily the most slept on card in the entire 710 card set, the Pump Shotgun, the USA Crystal Shard, and only sold for $10.50. Talk about a great pickup. Here we have 26 legendary USA Crystal Shards, July 13th. This is a sale I'm probably the most jealous of for the buyer. And $1,300 may seem like a lot of money, but this lot is probably worth anywhere from $25,000 to $30,000. And Lord knows if there were some 10s in there. Some PSA 10s. Peely Crystal Shards sold for $113. Now, this may have been the best pickup of all. The ROI on this buy is insane. This card has sold for $7,000 when it was in great condition and $4,000 with obvious corner issue flaws. A PSA 10 could be pushing 15 to 20K. Now, I wish I had the drive to constantly look for deals on eBay like others do. There is some crazy stuff you can find out there if you have the patience. Now, there was a moment in early February 2021 when, well, things just changed. Season 2 was starting to slow down, and with all the new collectors in the hobby, it was being realized how impossible it is to complete a Season 1 USA Holo, Shard, or even Legendary base card sets. I was actually a part of the first Season 1 Mega Box bid that went over $200. I felt like I was kind of throwing my money away, and I was overpaying. I mean, I knew at some point down the road I would make my money back, but I had no idea that in less than 2 months, we were going to skyrocket and peak at a max value of $3,800. Now, the market has receded since then, about 65%, and now we're seeing a modest price of $1,350. But it's funny how our brains work. We think we're in a recession because of that 65% drop. But in all reality, 210 to 1350 in just a few months is really unheard of unless you're an insider trader. So if we learned anything from stocks and crypto, a new steady higher price is actually more healthy than just rapid growth. It's just the way all things with value rise. And if we keep the Bitcoin comparison going, when Bitcoin went up to 20K, that's equivalent to the megas hitting about $3,800. And then when Bitcoin dove down to 6K, this is kind of like where we're at with megas at $1,350 a piece. And what you need to realize is $6,000 for a Bitcoin was still amazing if you were one of the early adopters. And how many people do you think sold at 6K? Probably a lot. And where's it at now? It's so funny how the human psyche works. And since Bitcoin has gone up 8 times, let's just see what that equates to. Well, that lands us about $10,800. But okay, let's get into some of the incredible sales of 2021. If you're a follower of the channel, you may recognize some of these from prior videos. Now, these are not necessarily the peak sales of every card. I'm just giving you a snapshot in time, and I have done my best to remove all failed sales and shill biddings. So all of these are actual legit buys. First, we have the Black Knight Base USA PSA 9. Now, I chose this one because so many people get caught up with PSA 10s that they forget how valuable PSA 9s are during a hot market. Now, the overall market pulled back about 65%, and we can see that almost perfectly here because on August 19th, we had practically the same card, same grade, go for $400. And if you have been listening, this is actually healthy for future growth. This card was worth a measly $50 in 2020, and it has still come a very long way. Next, we have 10% of the Season 1 promo set, Merry Marauder. The promo set definitely came in real hot for a while, and it's actually started to pick up again. Many early collectors let this go for about $99 to $300. And here we are with a single promo card peaking at basically $1,000. And with the crash, someone managed to snag a PSA 10 for an amazing $669. Not sure why people sell during droughts, maybe they're just scared, but I don't think this is the last time you'll see a P6 approaching $1,000. I did notice many of the other promo cards are still doing very well. PSA 9 Galaxy sold for $999. Once again, don't sleep on PSA 9s. The market is still very much alive. Now let's go ahead and talk about some cards from the big arena. The Black Knight Crystal Shard. Now there has been very, very few Black Knights that were in great shape listed raw on eBay. And I have never seen one that had a shot at PSA 10 go for auction. But this sale right here was a fixed price sell on eBay, and it sold immediately. If it had gone to auction, there's a good chance it could have doubled, tripled, or even more. Even with the market pullback, there is currently an auction of the USA Black Knight 9.5 gold label, the Don himself, and with 5 days left, it is already at $15,900. And even if it doesn't budge, this sale is a perfect example of why you get everything graded, at least if you can afford it. Now, we're all excited to see what it goes for. It will definitely create some buzz in the hobby, that's for sure. Now, there are a few private sales I wanted to talk about. When deals are made behind closed door, it really sucks for us content creators. People like pics, examples, and proof. But you'll have to just take my word and trust on these because these guys are stand-up people and some are even celebrities. The first double-digit sale was actually from Steve Aoki, a celebrity DJ. This guy is goated not only on the turntables, but also in the collectible industry. And I mix these numbers up from time to time, but the final value of that sale was $51,000 for a PSA Black Knight, PSA 10 Black Knight. It was $21,000 cash and $30,000 trade value from a sealed first edition Pokemon box. Very soon after that, another PSA 10 Black Knight sold for $55,000. When the value gets that high, no one wants to give eBay $6,000 in fees. But I personally know the guy who sold it, and it was the real deal. Now, this last sale I want to talk about, I'm actually just going to refer you to another video I've made where we actually interviewed the young man and his family. But to just touch on the video, since I was kind of vague during it, what was actually sold was a complete USA 709 card set. And remember, P10 came later, much after this sale. And in that set was 3 graded Black Knights, all gold labels, 9.5. And this sold for $175,000. They actually hand delivered this set. And I don't blame them. No one would trust UPS with $175K. That's a quick way to lose your money. Now, there is, at this point, an infinite amount of sales that we could talk about, especially with holofoils. Those have gone up almost 100 times their original value 2 years ago. And I will link a bunch of sales in the video description below so that you can kind of predict and do your own research on where you think the Fortnite trend is going. Just remember, the community is tiny, but it is getting bigger and bigger each month. Fortnite actually made the cover of Beckett, which is actually the first time I personally have seen any advertisement at all for this set. Just imagine when the population doubles or 10x's, which it really wouldn't be that hard because we do not have that big of a community. And we're already fighting over cards left and right. The growth potential in this hobby is so incredibly massive, it's hard to even guess where we will land. That's all I have. Happy collecting, and make sure you check out the extra videos in the description. Last thing, rip them sealed boxes. You won't. Subscribe.